Hello everyone and welcome back to the DIF, and very exciting that we're starting the first ever Startup Day here at the Disruptive Innovation Festival. This is a day that's dedicated to showcasing the startups that are accelerating the transition to a circular economy. And throughout the course of today, there'll be 12 startups, each with 15 to 20 minutes to discuss their innovation. And at the end of the day, we'll have a judging criteria where one of the winning startups will be selected to join the Circular Economy 100 Emerging Innovator membership. Now, hopefully you've been checking out the minute and a half startup videos on the Disruptive Innovation Festival's YouTube channel. If you have, you'll be familiar with ALDStone, which has been racking up the views over there. And in this session, we'll hear more about ALDStone's innovation from CEO and founder Susanna, along with a veritable crew of collaborators based in London currently. So to kickstart this session, I'm going to hand over to Nick Thompson, who's going to guide us through the ALDStone story so far. Over to you, Nick.
Thanks, Joe. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you this morning. My name is Nick Thompson. I work for Newable. I'm an innovation advisor, and I've been supporting ALDStone. And my colleagues here today, to my left.
Good morning, everybody. Dr. David Greenfield. I'm Managing Director of Sonex, but also Chair of the Institution of Civil Engineers Resource Management Panel.
Susanna, as founder and CEO of ALDStone, bringing forward groundbreaking solutions for the built environment.
And I'm Peter Lee from Smart Digital Innovation. I'm an advisor to Susanna on digital aspects of the service. I also work for British Standards Institution as well on Internet of Things.
Thanks very much, guys. Well, we'll kick straight off. So, Susanna, would you like to get going?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Basically, we started ALDStone a few years ago, back in 2012, and everything started with the thinking of how all systems, the traditional systems that are actually implemented in our built environment, are not working properly towards finite resources. Finite resources are more and more used in the building and construction industry in a way that they are demolished and destroyed, and there is no other way how thereafter they can be rescued. So we end up thinking, other systems, another way how we can recover those materials, and instead of demolishing and taking them and throw them away to the waste, then we can reuse and repair and repurpose. So we came along with systems of how we could reuse surfaces. Surface is a big part of the sector, because we have, in building construction, we have floors and walls that are demolished as we speak, tons every day. And basically, we understood that the systems that are adapted at the traditional systems are not allowing to recover those materials. So therefore, every time it's demolished a building or renovation of a space, we have pollution that is generated by it, as well as we don't have the opportunity to better use or reuse those materials, which we are losing from our side and the side of the economy. Now, we propose the new materials, the new systems adaptation allows the reuse of those surfaces in a way that has not been done before, in a very simple, easy, systematic way that we can adapt any surface, almost any surface, whether it's stone panels, wooden panels, ceramic carpets, into a vertical, we call it horizontal surface, which could be a wall or a floor. Now, by doing that, we can relocate them. As we change the materials time to time, we can reuse them and relocate them. So, by instance, we can close the loop by moving the materials within the society instead of breaking them and not using them anymore. So here we create, because we now allow the reuse of materials like tiles, panels. We allow here a new business model and a new market, whole transformation of new market, allowing and giving the opportunity to other businesses to be able to reuse. So instead of selling the products, I give you the example of the car industry. In the past, we were buying cars, and then suddenly the business models of rental and leasing came to market. So the same is going to happen with the tiles and panels sector. Now people can go to the warehouse and can buy a tile, but in the future with our systems, the near future, they are going to be able to rent and lease. The rental will be maximum around 30 days because we have systems that are only for temporary applications, which it could be exhibitions, movie theaters, etc. And then we'll have a more longer period, which will be related with a lease business model, which will be minimum a year to extend to the adapted to the customer needs, basically, and requirements. So by saying this, we are bringing here, opening a new whole market, transforming how materials can be used and get more from it. Because at the moment, the sellers of the tiles and the square meters, they only get per square meter one benefit, value. But by reusing these materials, by renting and leasing again and again, the square meter is not just one value, it's going to be indefinite value for that material. And we have systems as well after a long period of using that will be able, the materials be able to repair by surface medics located in the different locations. So like the cars, again, when they go and they have an accident, they go to car garage to repair, and then they go back to market to rental. The same will happen with tiles. The materials basically will be repaired and will go back to market. So we can indefinitely reuse and better use materials for a longer period of time. And now I'm going to pass it back to Nick. I just explained what ALDStone is bringing forward, which is a very important part of what we need to bring solutions, real solutions, sustainable, that we need to put forward to make it happen and change the system. Yeah.
Thank you, Susanna. So working with Susanna, I've come to see the development of the business model here, and that's the really innovative thing for me, the business model, because we're challenging, we're disrupting current business practice in a vast industry, and going from a wasting economy to a circular economy. This has environmental and monetary value, and pushing forward to the future, adopting a model that's already in other markets. So I'll hand over now to David.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, having worked in the construction sector for a good many years and having dealt with construction waste, and it's a huge challenge. And a solution like this, which is modular but also circular, is absolutely critical to helping to explore and expand the mind of the construction companies. And if we look at the way that buildings are designed, this is a new system that could be incorporated by architects, by construction managers, by landlords, in terms of making a space flexible. And part of the circular economy is about flexibility. And the nice thing with this is it's a modular system that you can put on the wall or the floor. It avoids waste, but it also gives people choice editing. So you could have 1 week a stone wall that you create, and then the next week, as you can probably see from the figure, you could have an AstroTurf wall if you wanted to. That choice editing is something that's really exciting, because when we look at fit out of new buildings, we do it on the basis of this is going to last for 5 to 10 years, and you're stuck with that. We're in a world now that change is constant, and fashion changes every day, fast fashion. Yeah. This has the potential to allow buildings to become flexible in how they look, depending on the needs of the client, but also the people going there. So for me, it's a really exciting way of exploring materials, but also design.
Thanks very much, David. The other thing I was going to say on the other end of that is a refresh of a building like a hotel or a conference venue being very quick as well. The no downtime. So a one-day changeover for a complete environment is an amazing thing. No downtime, no loss of earnings. So now I'd like to go over to Peter. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I'm really excited by the opportunity of choice and how we can help the construction sector and individuals find those choices. So how digital can actually help as part of this disruption as well. And we've seen digital really disrupt our lives all over the place. There are great opportunities to use platforms online now, such as Amazon Web Services, and there are other choices there, where we can build online communities using all of these different surfaces. So people can actually track their assets using simple barcodes on the back. We can track where they are, who's got them, and also catalogs of choice. So you can actually see alternative materials and finishes in different environments. And there are lots of apps these days where you can actually see your room layouts in different finishes. So you'd be able to have a look, make a choice, actually order up, have the surfaces delivered and installed for you. And Susanna's service also includes repairing to maintain the finish if you are wanting to keep the finish for a while. The cost of repair will be drastically reduced as well. Rather than replace whole surfaces, you can just replace small segments of that surface really, really easily without disrupting environments such as work environments. And some of the work British standards are doing is looking at healthy, high-performing buildings for work environments. And I think the choice of finishes is really going to help in that sector too.
Yeah, that's great, thank you. And the other thing that also springs to mind from what you're saying about workplaces is high wear areas on flooring areas in offices and in retail. You have to replace the whole floor currently. With this, you can selectively repair or replace sections. So we've got many benefits here for construction, for retail, for hotels, for conference centres, for the environment, and a monetary gain all the way through, completely closing the loop in a circular economy. So can I go back to you, Susanna?
Yeah, so basically, yes, as Nick is saying, here we are embracing others to understand the nature of where we come from, where we are leading with our systems, our products and services, and help them to be part of it, to transform, accelerate the system in building construction. Our products are very versatile, as I explained, and we can adapt in the different applications with the different materials. So it's a whole new market that needs to be explored. And this is our next steps. Yeah, so.
Okay, thank you very much. So at this stage, just to sum up, ALDStone is a groundbreaking, disruptive company. They'll make a difference in construction. They'll make a difference in economy. They'll make a difference in the environment. They'll make a difference to retail, building. They'll make a difference in workspaces, office spaces, and a disruptive top-end company for this century. So that's where we're going to finish. Joe, is that okay for you?
That's great. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for contributing to that pitch on ALDStone. I hope people watching online have enjoyed hearing about the company so far. A few questions from me, a few points that we can maybe expand on or clarify. When you explain it, it does sound pretty much like common sense. I guess that's part of your job. You've got these kind of durable tiles and floorings and wall coverings that shouldn't be destroyed or demolished when just one user doesn't want them anymore. But seeing as it sounds like a good idea, how unique is this in the market? Are there other people working on this? How much competition do you see out there for solutions like ALDStone?
Well, it's totally unique. We have patents together with our partners. So basically, there are other systems out there that they're trying to reuse. But the problem that we encounter with those systems is that they only apply to a specific material. Yeah, apart that they are not as efficient as the ones that we are presenting now, because our materials are also covering the health and safety, and they are water resistant, fire resistant, also acoustics that improve materials like ceramics, for example. So we have a very versatile system here and product that cannot be really compared with any other product. Actually, we have two systems and not one system. Two different systems and three products coming forward. So there is a basic systems that they don't have extra adapted composition, and there is a third product that is adapted to a heating system, which is very shocking for builders. Under our meetings, we had a really good response, positive, because our heating systems are lower consumption. Obviously, we embrace to be the energy generated by renewable energy, and they are also reusable. So they are adapted to our reusable systems, and that's in a 3.3 millimeters profile. So it's a very unique product, and we obviously know what we are bringing to the whole sector. Yeah.
And if people have seen the short pitch video that was shared earlier this week, there's a great clip where you put a suction cup on one of the tiles and lift it from the floor. And it looks almost like it just goes together like Lego. It all looks very simple. I'm sure it's not that simple. What have some of the barriers been? And I'm thinking about areas like technology, perhaps, or people's mindset, or the inertia of the current way of applying floor and wall coverings.
The adoption of that system that you saw in the video, at the end of the video, is basically pretty straightforward. The installation is faster than the old systems, as well as reducing cost in time and also in material. So we are totally improving here how the traditional, we call it old systems, because for us they are going to be left behind. So we now need to obviously adapt to the new systems that are resolving the problem that we need to take away from the system. So it's very easy to apply, and it's in this case in the video showing one ceramic 60 by 60. So that ceramic is slightly heavier than other materials, but obviously floor materials, wall materials, they will be different thickness. Obviously we'll embrace also, because we have the study and research over all these years of materials that are cradle to cradle and other materials that are better to use. So we will always embrace to our customers to also use those materials with our systems, so others also forward and step forward to the right solutions. Yeah. So,
David, maybe you can share as well.
I think we have to explore exactly what people are doing currently, and so we've got a traditional tile here, which you can see is quite thick. And when a tile is mounted to the floor or to the wall, you're using a grout. You'll then, depending on the wall surface, you might have to put a layer of concrete down, or a layer of plaster, or a wooden covering. You then grout that tile to the floor and then put some grout around it, and you've made a very hard surface there for a very long while. You can probably see the panels that we've got behind Susanna and the team here. That is effectively a one-stop shop. You bring a roll of effectively this material, lay it on the surface, and then that is your surface prepared for new tiles, be it very thin, that can then be attached very quickly and very easily to that surface. And so the system is completely disrupting the current way of putting in place the surface. And for me, I think that's really exciting. And particularly when we look at just simply tiles versus the thickness, you're also reducing the amount of material used to cover a surface. And if we look at the circular economy, that's actually really quite important, because we're actually reducing the amount of materials used. And for me, that's where I think this becomes a really exciting project, because it's so expansive in how it disrupts the existing model.
Yeah, it's important that we use less but get the same results, or even better. That's what I always been focused, because actually we have all the technology, we have everything there, so we just need to better wisely how to use it and bring forward and obviously groundbreaking new ways of thinking in order to achieve that. So yes.
Yeah. So the other thing we say is the other thing is education. I think the adoption of this is all about the education. If you can put across a good case that shows that there's a reduction in manpower cost, reduction overall cost, and reduction in waste disposal, then you've got three major factors that are going to tempt the industry into early adoption.
I think there's one other aspect, which this is really quite important in terms of it's already insulated. So you're actually producing a space that is energy efficient as well, and potentially can also be an energy emitter. So you're using as heating. And that's where I think the flexibility comes in, because it isn't about going, right, let's put some tiles on the floor and spend 2 weeks clearing the floor down. This is a far more attractive solution from that perspective.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk for a moment about the reaction to it. You said it would be a tempting proposition for business and industry. Have you got a sense of what the reaction is so far? Your potential customers for this, what do they think when they learn about ALDStone?
Well, we have held meetings with architects, builders, construction sector specifiers, designers, between UK, Spain, and Germany, and also quite a few meetings through other countries online. And all the answers have been positive, really exciting, very keen just to obviously find out how much it will be the square meter and how when we can start to operate. By saying that, I mean, we are producing materials, the last part of the process, one of our factories. So that is ready now to go, so they will be able to start to purchase. But we are doing already case studies. I mean, we did in the different Spain and in London case studies, but then we are also doing a school in Madrid at the moment, and also we have now other architectural firms, because now we are launching, we are bringing now everything forward, so they are now coming to us asking that they want to collaborate and do some case studies, so we can start to put things, everything forward. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And just, I know you mentioned it earlier, but just remind us really quickly before we have to close. What's the next step for the startup?
This is a step. Well, we obviously, ideally, we want to cooperate and be collaborating with as many other corporations and bodies, so we can really potentially accelerate the process of ALDStone into the market, and we can create the impact that we really need to transform the system and help to cut those carbon emissions. I mean, help the environment and help society and the economy to find new ways. Obviously, we have one of them, to step forward and do it more sustainable for everyone.
Great, thank you. Well, a massive thanks to Susanna, Nick, Peter, and David for introducing us to ALDStone today as part of DIF Startup Day. If you've enjoyed the conversation and you think they're onto something, let us know. Use #ThinkDiff. Leave comments on the video, in the comment section next to the video you're watching this on now, or on YouTube. We'll be taking those into account throughout the whole day as we compare and judge the startups as part of this first ever Disruptive Innovation Festival Startup Day. Thank you to the audience who joined in and watched online. Do stick around for the rest of the day. Next up, in about 4 minutes time, we'll be moving on to the next startup. They're called Let Us Grow, and they design irrigation and control technology for vertical farms. So definitely stay tuned to the Startup Day for the next half an hour and throughout the rest of the day as well. And another thank you to the team, the ALDStone team in London, for sharing their idea with us today. Thank you very much for joining at home, and we'll see you shortly.
Thank you, Joe.
Cheers.
Thank you.